and welcome to Griefers Pub. Tonight, we're going to be hanging out with Twitchy Raven in arbitration, and we're going to be discussing some CIG moderation actions with our special guest. So, welcome, arbitration.
Hi, glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
So we're just gonna like hop right into it. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, what do you do? Are you like a pirate? Do you do like bounties? What do you do in game? What's your thing?
We basically, my little group, Stellar Winds, we do basically all the criminal things that there are to do in the game, whether it's piracy, murder, terrorism, extortion, ganking, locking down things, whatever the case may be. Specialty in FPS lockdowns and interdictions, but
Okay,
He echoing. Who's echoing?
my bad.
Are we good now? Maybe
All right.
talk a little bit just to double check. Is that you?
Yep. Beep boop. Anyway. So yeah, I mean that's what we do.
Okay. I'm sorry. One second. We're dealing with some technical difficulties here. So is there still an echo, Elder? Let me just double check on that. Hello. Still an echo. Who am I echoing right now? Is it Twitchy Raven or is it arbitration? It's arbitration. Itachi, do you have headphones?
I do. Give me a sec. I'll just mute.
Okay. All right. So what were you saying, arbitration? Welcome on in, Isobi.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
so I was just saying, yeah, we do a little bit of everything. Everything on the criminal side, piracy, extortion, terrorism, murder, financial crimes, which is what we got in trouble for this time, and we got to specialize in like FPS lockdowns, interdictions, cargo acquisition, if you will. So
Yep. So that was all in game. Like, what did you get banned for then?
So we did a little bit of scummy scamming where we we had some of the golden tickets laying around, right?
Yeah.
From the event, and we're not going to use them, and we have just a bunch of them sitting around, and people were selling them in chat for like any amount of money, like millions of credits. There are people selling them illegally on the black market for actual money on eBay for like $50. So
You could look at eBay. Actually, you could find them for anywhere from like ranging from 40 to 150.
yeah,
And
it's
some
crazy.
of those have actually sold. It's crazy. Like RMT is not like addressed, but here you are getting banned for what exactly? You had a golden ticket.
Okay,
and
so
then,
we had a golden ticket, and we were like, hey, let's we're sitting around waiting for some action. We're like, hey, why don't we quote unquote sell a bridge? We'll sell a golden ticket. So like, hey, I've got a golden ticket, 4 million credits. Pay half up front, and then you'll get it, and then half after. And some guy snapped it up, and we did the deal. He came up to the hangar. My associate's holding the golden ticket in his hand to prove that he's got it, right? And we say, okay, we'll put it in this box inside the ship, send half the money, and then we'll give you the thing. And then he sent half the money, and then we went bloop bloop, and then there was no ticket anymore. And then he got really mad and started saying, oh, we'll report this, blah blah blah. But we'd done confidence tricks in this game for a long time, years, like 5 years of things like that, where doubling scam, Jita 2.0, all of those things, right? And we know we've been reported for all of those things. Merit scamming, that was a fun one. Back when you could bank merits, we would quote unquote sell merits to organizations for millions of credits and take them for selling bridges here and there, right? And then just as a bit of fun in between action or whatever, pays the bills, buys the torpedoes. Anyway, so we sell this, think nothing of it, and then a couple days later, I'm playing the game, and then I get a 30K36 disconnect code, which is sanction enforcement.
Yeah.
Um,
Can I read off what that said? Like just the message, just because we don't have the visual. It
yeah,
says,
sure.
due to gameplay violations confirmed by Cloud Imperium Games, your access to the persistent universe game mode has been temporarily suspended. Go to conduct, and it just shows that it doesn't refer to like a certain specific, like, this is what you broke as far as a rule. It just says your access will be restored after set amount of time. I'm not going to say that, but yeah, I don't know. That just seems kind of like out of nowhere. Not a lot of
Yeah,
communication,
so it was
maybe.
super out of the blue, and then I checked my email, and it just said, "You have like you've been banned, reason scamming," and then just some copy paste, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
no explanation, no like what exactly did I do? Who did I do it to? It was just like one word, boom, done. See you in 7 days. And I know people have gotten warnings or even three
Mm-hmm.
days for things like hard R in chat. Like you can say
Mm-hmm.
racial
Yep.
slurs in chat and get a lesser ban, like than taking someone's AUEC. I never took money. I never said I was going to take money. The
Yep.
item itself. Now, here's the gray. I guess the gray area is the item lets you buy some, like the ship in the store, but
Yep.
it itself doesn't give you the ship, so it has zero value, but it kind of
Yep.
has value. So I could see where they might have gotten pissed off about that specifically, but they never said that. They just said
Do you
scamming.
Yep.
feel they only took action because that golden ticket actually contains monetary value, or was it because they actually were just, this is the guy, we're gonna like strike him with lightning at this very moment? No other reason.
Maybe
Because it
a
sounds
little
like
bit
you
of
were
column A, a little bit of column B. Like maybe they
okay.
felt like they couldn't sanction me for scams in the past, and we know that we've been reported because people have said so.
Yeah.
And, um, but maybe they felt like that was over here, but they've gotten a lot of complaints, and then now this gave them the thing that they could, but they didn't say that either. But
Yeah.
that seems
Th-
likely. Seems very likely.
That was
Yeah.
my
I
very
know
first
like CIG is
reaction
pretty
when I heard about
notorious
this.
for a lack of, how to say it, um a lack of communication, like proper specific. It's not the first time that we've heard stuff like this before. So that's why I was just kind of curious. Were you the only one that was banned in this, or you had mentioned that there was a friend, right? Who was the
Well,
buddy
we
that?
did a little buddy duo thing. Looks like me and my associate. We were, I don't know. We also made our characters look like Donald Trump and Joe Biden, and maybe that didn't help things. I don't know. But anyway, um, so we were just doing this little scam, just being trolly or whatever. The funny thing is, I never actually had the ticket in the first place. Like I didn't even have one on my account at that point because I had crashed out of the game right before I was going to give it to the guy, and I lost the ticket.
Mhm.
But my associate had a ticket, and a pile of them. So I wasn't even in the ship. I wasn't even in the same city in the game, and I didn't have the ticket. But my associate's the one who had the ticket and held
Yep.
it up in the air. I was just facilitating it in chat.
Oh
And
my
then he
god.
dipped and claimed the ship back. We also had
Mm-hmm.
another party member. Um, and so that also raises the point of like, I actually never had it. And I got banned for just saying that I had it. So it raises a lot of like, where's the line questions with any criminal activity? What
Yep.
if I say, oh, it's going to cost you 100 grand to land at Jump Town for an hour, and you pay me the
Hmm.
100 grand and I kill you anyway? Is that now the same thing? Because I said
Because
I was going to do something and I didn't do it and I took your money.
I
So
was gonna.
where's the line? Is that the same line,
Y-
or
It,
not?
it it really feels like it shouldn't be. I was gonna say this is stuff that I've done with you, Twitchy. Sorry, Twitchy, you were muted in
hmm
Discord for me, but now I can actually hear
Yeah,
you.
you're
My
fine.
apologies. Like we've done a lot of these things where you hold down a certain area, or you like hold someone hostage for a certain amount of credits, like 1.5 mil. And I gotta say, I've never seen, people have said I'm gonna report you, but I've never actually seen those actions happen. So I don't know.
Yeah, we were literally doing that 45 minutes before we were on camera. And I mean, we got smoked, but we also got dumped by a much bigger group than we were expecting. So we totally took the L. We were just like, oh, well, crap.
Yep.
But yeah, it makes me think of, and I'm not going to name names or anything, but it makes me think of a past recent event where everyone spammed the same thing in chat, and then all of a sudden a lot of people got banned just for spamming something
They're
or
not a
saying something in
boogeyman. We
chat.
can just say griefernet, and we can say it was the experience in which that happened.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not doing it to defend them. I'm just trying to make sure I keep everything as nice and like smooth
Yeah,
as
no, I
possible
get
for
it. I get it.
everyone. They want to
But
come
there
in
was
here
a certain similar
say
situation where they
so.
just it was like a blanket ban. Everybody that was involved in that chat was just out for spamming, and it was
Yep.
just kind of goofy shit like
It's
that.
crazy.
Oops, there's a
It's
strike
crazy.
one.
So you're actually in a scenario where now you have to be careful what you say, because if you get that either that one blue player, I still like to try and, like I said, keep things smooth, but you get that one blue player that's just overly pissed off and then gets a bunch of his buddies to all report the same, more or less the same event. It could have just been something you said at this point. I mean, you're a clear proof of that.
Yep.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like that also calls into question their ability to actually investigate, because they said that they checked logs and they said that they investigated it and they said that all this stuff, but did they? Because if you run an investigation, you see I never actually even possessed this item, and somebody else was involved, and someone else was involved, and neither of those people that were involved paid a ban over it. You know, not that we want them to, but you know, actually the other guy kind of wants a ban. He's kind of pissed off that he didn't get a ban and I did.
It sends conflicting messages when only one person that is involved in, said incident is getting action taken against them. The question I had, I was going to ask you was, do you feel the actions taken by CIG's player relations team were warranted, or was it blown out of proportion?
Oh, it was totally blown out of proportion. I mean, obviously I'm biased, right? But I mean, look, fair's fair. If I broke a rule in the game and it's like it's known that this is a rule in the game and you're not supposed to break it, it's like, you know, if you have an ace up your sleeve while you're playing blackjack at Vegas and they catch you, obviously you're going to get your hands chopped off, right? Like everyone knows that. That's against the rules. You know, so if it was against the rules, I wouldn't do it. That's not the way we play. Now, you know, we're griefer assholes, but we play fair. We play inside the bounds of the game. Like that's our thing. Like we don't look for ways to cheat. We don't need to cheat because we just kill people. It's whatever. So it's like, uh, so that's the thing. It's like I didn't get a warning. I didn't get a mild ban, like a 3-day or a 1-day, or just like a hey, listen, buddy, we're looking at you. Don't do this again, okay? Like no. And not only that, but the interaction was also very rude, very unprofessional. You know, like needlessly interjecting their personal opinion of the situation rather than just upholding a referee ruling. Like you
Just
don't
like
need the
objectively
referee on the
stating,
field to like be rooting for one of the teams, right? You just want them to say, "Hey, under review, you know, we've decided that this is against the rules. We will be upholding the ban. Further action will result in longer bans. Regards, CIG." That would have been fine, right? And it's like, okay, fair's fair. But they got kind of, you know, they didn't go
almost a
super
little
in depth, but
personal.
it was rude, it was unprofessional, and it's
Do you mind if I
like,
read that off really quick?
yeah, go
Because
for it.
I do have it up. So this is actually from CIG Dracadius, just because, I mean, it's blatantly there. We can just say that. The first section seems kind of cut and
Also,
dry.
sorry to
We've
interrupt.
reviewed
Dracadius is the account
Dracadius.
lead, so he's kind of the end of the road too.
Yep.
Besides a dev, maybe a dev could overrule that, but
Right.
unless one of the devs is here, you know, then we can't really do anything about it. So.
Right. So here's what it says. It says, hello, we have reviewed the activities in question, including your chat logs. You were scamming players. You could have just left it at that. It says, per our terms of service, it says the code of conduct, which, I mean, I can post it in the chat. It's really vague, unhelpful. There are some guidelines there, like basic stuff, but not really in depth. I feel like they could really expand on that a little bit more to, you know,
More
kind
on
of help out with
cheating
that.
or using exploits
Cheating,
or third-party
exactly.
tools
But
or
that's what it
selling
addresses, right?
things in real life that you're not supposed to.
So So they listed scamming as like the umbrella, the initial term that they banned you for, right? And while I will say in a small degree in the game itself only, it was kind of a scam, but not even that. So those rules that they put there in place are solely for the idea of actually scamming somebody out of money, because this is a pledge. This is a I don't want to use the word term like donation, but you are supporting a company on their project financially. So thus there could be repercussions if you're going to lose a financial investment or gain
Can
or
I actually
whatever.
cut you off there?
Exactly.
There are separate terms of service, and then there's code
Is
of
there?
conduct. Yep. So
Okay.
there's
Then I
a
missed
more
that
in
part.
depth for IRL like transactions. That's what it addresses, not so much the
Okay.
in-game currency and everything else. Unless
Okay.
I like
Well,
somehow might have missed that.
okay. So then I'll retract part of that and I'll say this. The fact that everyone knows, and you're even warned before you send somebody credits or merits, that this is a dangerous verse. There are pirates, and we're not just talking NPCs. And I'm just using my little scooter that I always do in these arguments, is there's good and bad players. And
Yep.
it seems to me, it looks like, especially for someone that never even held the freaking ticket, to be honest, it seems to me that people that are literally trying to play the bad player are getting punished for things that are completely, and by CIG themselves, expected and
Yep.
also warn players about. And yet those same players seem to take high offense to that play style or mechanic or pirating or whatever you want to call it. If it upsets them, it's a mechanic or a environment that shouldn't exist in the game. Yet it's basically the Wild West.
There
So
is a subsection I'm looking here: errors, failed transactions, and bugs. RSI support staff cannot assist with recovering lost currency of any kind, regardless of it or if it was lost through this app failing to work properly or a game crash. So this sounds like it's more technicalities and stuff like that. Should something unexpected happen with a trade done through MO Trader, please report the situation. So that's completely unrelated. But I'm trying to
yeah,
remember where that was. I think you actually had it posted in your Discord arbitration.
Yeah, let me
Here it is. It's
yep,
highlighted.
got it.
I got it. Completed transactions cannot be reversed, so players should be mindful of who they are trading with. As with sending gifts, we recommend that players should only trade with others that they know and trust.
Yep.
So
so
that
And you have to
says it all.
acknowledge this every time you load the game. Every time
yep.
you load the game, that acknowledgement screen has that in there or
Right.
something to that
Even when you go to
effect. It
the MO
changes a little
trader.
bit every patch. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and I was having technical audio issues, as you guys all heard at the beginning, and I wanted to touch on it but I couldn't. But the point
Please do.
that
Yeah.
Frag brought out, and I think him and I, this was one of the very first things I said when he had informed me about this whole situation, was what is the fundamental and basis of this ban? Because to me, logically, it doesn't make sense that if you're going to short someone, even just short someone money, which is actually what you did. You didn't just not like, or that they didn't pay. Anyways, my point is, even if you just short someone credits, is it a slippery slope? Like where's the line now?
And that's
Because
a
now
good
if
point. With
is
Yeah.
shorting,
is
so
it
say someone sells
is
me a
it
rail
now?
gun, right? And then there's like, okay, it's 100 grand. And then they give
Yep.
it to
Yeah,
me and I give them 20 grand and I say, thanks for the rail gun. F you, I'm out. You know,
yeah. Or is this not marked line that we don't have firmly established yet? Is it now moved to the point that because it was and I love your comment, actually, it was perfect, and I'm just kind of reinforcing it because I have the same
Yep.
thought process. Is this because not so much about the credits and one upset blue player, or is it more about the fact that it was an item that could have been a potential sale? Obviously, the person had an interest in it and wanted to get it, which meant they had an interest in possibly purchasing it from their pledge store. It's the same circumstance of not sending a car salesman out to somebody that's flashing cash looking at the car they want.
yeah.
It's the same scenario. So where is that line now? Now I'm actually really curious, because that's the only thing to me that would make logical sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
There was actually a previous episode that we did, is CIG Grief and the Griefers. That was one that we were talking about a long time ago, and we had brought up, it was the whole experience versus Griefernet, and there was this whole back and forth for a long time, and whether or not the terms of service were clear enough. And we actually had a really good friend Sil from PAX join us and actually put together like a really good discussion for that. So um, that does bring up another question that I have. How does this affect our other types of in-game scamming, whether it be piracy, ransom, false med beacons, hijacking ships, hostages, ambushes? I mean, where do you draw the line, really?
That's
Yeah.
that's the scary part about all this. I mean, again, going back to GratefulNet, you just type something. You could have just joined the server. There were people that actually had nothing to do with it that just spammed the same thing just to be a meme. Got
Yep,
a ban.
pretty much. I mean, there's a few times I remember we'll just on occasion type in Griefernet victory just to get like a server slot open because boogeyman. It's interesting though, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that is like it is an issue with the terms of service or the code of conduct just being too vague, where they need to revisit this, right?
Well,
And
it's
it's out of
definitely
date.
something where if you're going to ban someone for 7 days over it the first time, and then also say subsequent things will get you banned more, then you got to tell me where the line is, because that's just not fair. Just
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
playing blackjack without knowing what card you have under your hand. It's like I don't know what I'm
Exactly.
supposed
Yep.
to do.
That's the
Because
that's
okay, another point that one of our associates brought up, and he's even made a Star Fox made an issue council on this about like because he is the ultimate scammer. I mean, he's the guru, right? Okay, so um, multiple 890s out of this shit. Okay, so um, and he opened an issue council on his own BS as like, why isn't there an escrow system in MoTrader? Because scams are so easy and people get so pissed off. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't want this to happen, then there should be some sort of escrow where, oh, I feel like this was okay, send it. Or no, I did not get the thing, don't send it. And you can put the item in the escrow and you can put money in the escrow, and then it will send it when both people say, okay, it's what's supposed to be there is there. But that's not
Yeah.
there. And so it's like, it's
yeah.
not my fault you don't have an escrow. And it's not my fault this guy's stupid enough to give me 6 million credits in one go. It's like that's just welcome
No,
to Stanton, like
Yep.
how
Pretty much.
I'll play devil's advocate and I'll say,
sure.
well, it is a game that's in process and development and all that stuff, and we just haven't gotten to it yet. And that's a
Yep.
valid. I mean, I would say that is a valid defense. Here's my
Yep.
counter to it. Here's why I think that's still. I'm just gonna call it bullshit. How much, and I love that actually Elder had just posted a little while ago, waste of resources. How many resources, how many man hours sitting behind a computer would be saved if they just spent, and even if it's a lot, I'm going to be honest, to put an escrow system in? How many tickets, how many logs and reading would you save by going through that and not having to deal with so many tickets that are based on a situation like this?
Yep.
Yeah, like real man hours by real professionals. And this guy, Jercadius is like, a senior member of the team. So you're somebody who probably has 2 or 3 degrees and is making 6 figures a year is dealing with my bullshit. Like that's such a waste of resources, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then there's other also the speaking of that, the mismatch of Peter paying Paul, or it's like uh the way that the actions of my actions were enforced by the account lead versus what we've heard in every Inside Star Citizen about this is a dangerous universe and Pyro's about to open, which is going to be a lawless hellscape. It's going to be amazing, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yep.
hello, you're talking about all this stuff about like how it's going to be so fucking edgy and it's going to be so dangerous and it's going to be like you better strap duct tape to your ass, boy, because we're going into Pyro. So it's like, you're talking about all this stuff, and then, uh, oh, you took 2 million credits from my friend. You're banned for 7 days. Don't do it again, or we're going to ban you again. It's like, well, that makes no sense. Like the years of build up to Pyro makes no sense. Banning somebody for scamming somebody out of 2 million credits.
So
Here's a real question: if we
every
had Pyro and then you did it there, do you think it'd be acceptable then because it's just a dangerous environment?
I don't know.
It's a joke.
Maybe.
It's obviously a joke. The real question
So-
actually is, Itachi, go ahead.
well, I was gonna say, so in this counts for all players. I don't care if you're blue or if you're a red CS player, right? We all want the thrill and the engagement without the risk. Even the pirates. The only and the main difference between people that are willing to be pirates and the bad guys and the criminals, we're willing to accept the risk because the engagement, the thrill is that fun. But if you have cargo haulers that they want the thrill, and I don't blame them, we want the thrill too. But if they want the thrill of the danger and the excitement, and oh, I almost died, and half my engines are missing, and engineering's freaking out, and all this stuff, but we got out and we got the cargo. They want that. They want that experience. That's the whole reason they play the game.
Mhm.
The only difference is we're willing to accept the risks.
But not accept the risk in real life, like getting a ban from the game. Like, so that's the problem. It's like conflating bad guy actions in the game to being a bad guy in real life. It's like, no, I'm a good guy in real life in every facet of my real life. That's why I play this game. So I get to play the villain somewhere. And
Because
it's like,
it's a medium for that. Yeah. That
right.
makes
It's
sense.
like, I don't
Mhm.
need to be like scolded like a school child on a game where you're supposed to be able to be like, the Dread Pirate Roberts in space.
Yar.
And the least of things that could be offensive to a player is the one thing that I actually eat a ban for. It's like, torpedoing someone in their hangar, getting on stowing away on board someone's ship and stabbing them in the neck while they're flying in cruise and then stealing their shit. It's like we've done like the laundry list of terrorist crimes in Stanton, and that people have, and then also the salt that you get back is like horrific. They want you to die IRL. We've had like people get cancer and die, please, ASAP. We have a little like best of wall that we keep on our
I noticed that.
on
I
our
was
page.
reading that the other day. Yeah. There's like some interesting comments in there. That's
One of them was
definitely
like going to infiltrate your shit, expect a knife to a neck. Tried to dox me but failed. He like came blustering into the server and like did all this, trying to dox me and whatever. But it's like all the really negative stuff always happens when you like gank someone and it's them being shitty outside of the game, right? And then the worst part is our little organization, our shtick is that we're like all the stuff in our chat is like this smarmy, like corpo fake nice crap. We're like, thanks for being a valued customer, like so
Yeah.
everything that we say in chat is actually like super clean. Like we're not like, oh, get wrecked, nerd. We're just like,
Oh yeah.
oh, thanks for your financial contribution. Have a stellar day. Like really, really corny, and then that actually makes it worse, which is great. But
they get mad. You know
Yeah.
what I always like to say is understandable. Have a nice day, and then just like, they're like raging in chat after that.
or
Sometimes
just like,
people,
GG,
take a
good
joke.
fight. And like,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
you get back here right now and let me kill you. It's like,
You called that a fight? I was
No.
standing still, and you couldn't hit me 4 times. Like
Oh,
weird
so he was
comments like
jousting.
that.
Dad, there was a couple comments
Yep.
you were wanting to catch up on, weren't there?
Yeah, same here. There was one that I think, where was it? It was way back here. Let me find it. It's a highlighted question. It was before Elder had posted something. I think Bearded Blink had actually posted that. Let me find it.
I'd entertain you guys by meeting a chip.
If we can't trade tickets, why are they tradable? We already addressed that one. There was a good one. I'm just trying to find it. Give me a sec. Thing is, no replacement. I see it now. Elder's trying to.
So, well, he's looking for that
Anyways,
arbitration. How was your vacation from Star Citizen?
Oh, it was great. It wasn't because I
Here it
have
is.
an alt anyway. So
Yay! So no IRL repercussions for scamming credits should happen. Being a fucking
Mhm.
pirate to take goods is sanctioned. So what if I do it with gray matter instead of a gun? So what if I do? Okay, that was just a comment. There was something that I think Kamak had mentioned. IRL scamming ban 100%, but if I blow someone in a blur and get home to give me 400K, then blow them up, what's the difference? No. You know what? I'm not going to worry about it. But
But
yeah,
yeah,
if you guys
it
have
does
any
make sense.
questions,
It's like if you pirate someone, like they took
look,
1 million credits and turned it into boxes. Then you take those boxes and you take it from them and you sell it at the no questions asked terminal. You've made their credits your credits. It's
yep.
functionally the same thing. I guess the difference is that I did it in game and not in chat. And I think the
Mhm.
real difference is it's not a golden. I think the big thing, it comes back to the golden ticket.
I think it's golden ticket because they
Yeah.
So,
lost some potential revenue. I think that's why they took
Exactly.
action.
but
Because
And
the
otherwise,
problem
and I,
is they never specified that. We're just still speculating,
no,
and they
they
won't specify it either.
of course
And
not.
I wouldn't either. There's no way I would specify that. You imagine what kind of hellfire you would start if you specified that as the reason why you got banned? Could you imagine? I mean, it's already, if I'm being completely open, it's already bad enough that they're causing a gray area or a gray line where I mean, it could potentially, I'm not going to say it will turn into it, but it could potentially be a slippery slope of, okay,
Mhm.
well, where's the line now as to, what I can or can't steal from someone or scam them out of as far as credits only. But yeah, because it's a golden ticket, they're not going to specify that, but it's more or less the only case where someone got banned for taking someone else's credits. Why? I wish I really can we crop where I put a golden ticket in my hand in the video?
Do that
That'd be
right now.
amazing. And then
Do it
and then
in
I'll make it
post.
harder
Do
on
it
you
in
by doing
post.
this.
Yeah, do it in post. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Is this really the only time that? I mean, I think it is, but it. Do you guys know of any other time someone's been banned for taking someone's money in game?
I haven't heard of any, well, at least not from the PvP community.
Like
Usually
we've
pretty,
asked around and we haven't heard anything
yeah.
either. So everyone's very stymied about it.
If I be
Um,
honest, it's probably happened, but I can't imagine on any sort of large scale.
what I'm very curious in the future is if someone else does a doubling scan, let's say, and gets reported, will they get banned? And if they don't get banned, what if I do a doubling scam sometime in the future? Do I have a red flag that I would get banned for doing the old doubling, give me your money, I'll double it thing? But somebody
Slippery
else
slope.
can because they don't have a red flag? And then will the rules be adjudicated equally across the game? I don't know. We could always run a sting operation, I guess, but I think that's an easy first step. I mean, you don't have to program anything extra if you just set the rules out from the get-go. And I get that you can't specify everything, right? I mean, otherwise, there's always going to be a loophole, right?
Yep.
Someone's always going to find something. But if this is something you feel really strongly about, which obviously somebody does,
It should be clarified.
then just say like you're not allowed to do this specific action because this came up and we really feel strongly against this. So
Yep.
this is not this is not intended gameplay, and if you do this, we'll take action.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, fair, great.
Mhm.
Like
I
we
think
won't do that then. Excellent.
I think you nailed it earlier, as I said, and again, actually, you nailed it. I think the very first and quick, easy fix is to put it into the terms of service, the code of conduct, and then, as you said even earlier, the whole escrow system. I mean, if they're literally developing and making the tools that they need in order to make the game, they're not even just using already existing tools, but they've had to start from scratch in a lot of different areas. If
Yep.
they're able to do that, I can't imagine the amount of easy investment and man hours they would save in the future by literally creating some sort of safety or escrow for trading. And in almost all scenarios, if I was being real honest, And yeah, I mean that kind of, I'm a red player. He's a red player. We're all red players
We're all
here,
red players, and that's fine.
and we're
Yeah.
still opting for the idea that, hey, we're not going to take advantage of a system if they put safeguards in place. And I think that would be the very next step to fix that. I think that would be amazing and save CIG a lot of not only money but heartache and flack and time. Yeah.
Personal opinion, I think they could add, like you said, a proper trading system instead of you give credit, I drop on ground. We're not cavemen. Let's do it like properly, where we have like a trading like center within like a location. If someone wants to do a safe trade, they can do it there. I think that would make more sense. Plus, I know we are missing certain systems. To be fair, CIG still has a lot of work to do. We're missing reputation. We're missing, any kind of like organizational, means of having, like a shared bank or anything like that, or like notes on like players, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It sort of fixes it. Maybe, I don't think so though. I'll be honest.
I don't think so.
Persistent
I
hangers are created an instance, but it's not like a mutual spot where someone can meet up. You
And
give
it
like
still
how
doesn't
like
prevent the
exactly
take and dip kind of thing.
like a trading
and I and
menu
I
like certain MMOs have, where you put down like a certain item, they put down like a certain amount of currency, and then both agree, and then it trades off. Would make more sense, right? A trade-o-matic terminal, more terminals. Goddamn.
and Dad, you had a good point. Yeah, there's a lot of things we're missing, and that's what we were touching on earlier. There's a lot of things that are still in the work. There's a lot of things that have existed and worked just fine in the past and are broken right now. So and that's pretty normal for us, unfortunately. But I I, I I hate to say it, but as a business model, the very first thing I'd be looking at is what is the best investment of my time, and making reputation and things like that, and mechanics that we would love, whether you're a good player or a bad player, work again, that may only just break again later. I'm not saying it's not worth it, but there's things higher on the priority list, and especially going back to the escrow thing, I think that would, I love that idea, honestly. And we really really should have a proper trading system to mitigate those risks and force guys, well, like you, to find other means to have your fun.
Yeah,
So,
right.
and then save them all the tickets.
Exactly. And, I think another thing to improve is definitely, customer service. It's like, I mean, bordering on, sounding entitled, but it's like I've supported this game for 5 or 6 years.
Yep.
I've put a lot of money into it that maybe I shouldn't have put in. And it's like,
I think we're all guilty of that one.
and
Yeah, I'm
it's
with
like
you there, bro.
I have 3 degrees and I don't need to be spoken to that way. It's like, hello.
Do you want me?
Like,
Do you
what are
want
you
me to
doing?
read the portion that it seems a little bit off,
Yeah,
or
sure.
do you want to leave that out? So it says, this is the bottom portion of the message. Scamming is not a criminal gameplay loop. It is malicious, detrimental to the community, and overall a pretty crummy thing to do. The suspension will not be overturned. If you are found to be engaging in this behavior further, lengthier suspensions will be the next step. We consider this matter closed, and further inquiries on the subject will receive no response. And that's it.
It's like my boss would never speak to me that way, ever. My boss's boss would never speak to me. My boss's boss's boss would never speak to me that way. And it's like I'm your best customer. You know what I mean? I'm like your loyal. I'm waving the flag. I've got the fucking t-shirt, literally. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't need to be spoken to that way for like a rule violation in your fucking video game, dude. It's like it's a game. Just like he obviously
Just
feels very strongly about this and could not keep it out of a professional conversation. It's like this conversation is outside of the game. This is a professional
I,
conversation from a real company for somebody who represents that company to another,
yeah.
like for about some sort of conflict resolution between two customers of that company, that you have to be able to to just deal with it cleanly and not invest yourself. If he had just left that part out, then it would be professional, but he just was not able to be professional. And this is a senior member of their staff. So that's like very disheartening, because all the other times I've needed a ticket resolution, it's been great. And the guy behind the desk has always been really friendly, and there's a little bit of banter, and it's fine. It's like, you know,
Mhm.
and CIG is known for being really cool with their customers. But that's like that just puts kind of that's kind of the sour milk, you know. It's like why do we need that?
So just like the overall interaction could have been a lot better in that regard. Just blatantly stating, "Hey, this is what you did wrong. This is what you could improve," and then just leaving it at that could have been like a better solution overall. You think?
Yeah. I mean, you
Just like
know,
the overall tone.
exactly. And it's like, okay, like I'm not, you know, I don't need you to like, you know, jerk me off in the thing, but you know, also don't need to be a jerk.
Right. Yeah. There was actually a comment that Juice just made. It's not my responsibility as a player to determine the morality of loud gameplay when there are no systems in place to prevent certain actions and the rules are unclear. We've
Yeah,
said that.
and
Yeah.
to further that even more, I and I like even now in the stream, I try to think about it from both points of view, but the simple thought I keep having and keep coming back to is they want it to be a dangerous universe, and it's not just NPCs you have to worry about. But it just feels like there's constant, and I'm not dogging on them. I am trying to come from a constructive point of view of it
Yeah.
just feels like there's constant walls and turns and little things that we have to navigate that are not game mechanics. Mind you, we play the game literally playing it to navigate bugs, but it seems like we're constantly having to navigate all these and circumvent all these little rules and changes that are, and this might be biased of me, that are always leaning more and more towards a non threatening environment of your cargo, your money, your character, your gear, your guns, your ship, your crew. And it makes me as a player wonder how much further is it going to go, especially going closer and closer to 4.0 and polished, before raid players are going to start looking around realizing it's not so much we're not we're not just risking going to prison, we're almost guaranteeing that we're going to go to prison or have some sort of consequence.
Yeah.
So
Or an out of game consequence. Like you're going to blow up, you know, Chris Roberts's like kid or something, or his nephew,
Jesus.
and then you're going to eat a 14-day
can we cut that part out,
because
please?
you hurt someone's peepees.
Okay. With that being said, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about arbitration with this whole situation, or do you feel like we've kind of wrapped it up?
Oh,
Kind of leave it up.
they also took all of my money out of my game account for after the ban. So they didn't take my ships, but they did take all the money, and not all the money was ill-gotten gains.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of lame. They didn't mention that at all. I just logged in
No.
and it's like, oh, I'm bankrupt now. Cool. Like there goes 12 million credits. Rip.
Like 0 credits overall.
Like they took me down to like I don't know, like 500,000 or something. But I had like
Mhm.
millions of credits, and a lot of them were actually like legitimate credits.
Yeah.
So
I wonder.
I would love to know the thought process behind that. Is it just like an easy button behind their computer that they hit? Oh, just
Maybe
set
they
it at
just reset
500K.
it, or
Or
maybe it was just a matter of, hey, you know what, this guy,
I think
this
it's
is
just
your proper
punitive action. It's just
Maybe that's
you
probably
know
what it is.
little
I
extra
don't know
ball
what else it
twist
would be.
to get you through the weekend.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. All right. With that being said, guys, I'm going to say we're going to wrap it up there. Arbitration, thank you very much for spending some time with us this evening and kind of just telling us your side of the story. So I do appreciate your little bit of, information there. It really actually helps us to kind of figure out what we shouldn't be doing in game, I guess, until CIG figures
For a
out what
while.
they're going to do with their terms of service. But just a reminder, we do have a YouTube. This episode will actually be up tomorrow, which will be nice. And if you guys haven't joined the Grim 42 Discord, you can find us there. You can always post questions there. If you have like any topics that you want to talk about, bring it over there. We would love to see you guys there. Yeah.
And actually, Elder told me that he really wants you to ping him every time so he can say hi directly to you. So if you join the
Don't do that.
Discord,
Don't do that.
just ping Elder.
If you guys could actually say Elder get well. He hasn't been feeling super great this evening, so that kind of explains like his absence. So hopefully he's feeling a little bit better and get some rest. With that being said, we'll catch you guys next time and have fun.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Arbitration.